Get 3 coffins ready.
Huh?
The Colt single-action army revolver, also known as the Peacemaker, has survived over 100 years in American culture. Though the famous firearm began as a weapon used in war from 1873 to 1892, film and television has extended the gun's life far beyond its use on the battlefield. Dating back to 1915, the gun makes an appearance in Birth of a Nation, a film that takes place during the Civil War era, when the Peacemaker had not yet been released. Due to the gun being readily available in large quantities, that fact was overlooked. While the film is significant for being the first full-length feature film and first to feature this sidearm, its inaccurate portrayal of the freed slave population and glorification of the Ku Klux Klan makes it a film best left unwatched.
Alton Miller, I arrest you for attempted murder and robbery.
It wasn't until over 15 years later that the gun began making regular appearances in film, mainly in low-budget, shorter-length Western films, which had become very popular in the early 30s. Once again, due to its easy accessibility in Hollywood, the Colt single-action army revolver appeared in many of these B-Westerns, including tons of early John Wayne films. Similar to how Wayne became a star of Westerns, his favorite gun did too. When the United States entered the Second World War in 1941, Colt Firearms stopped production of the revolver almost entirely throughout the duration of the war, to concentrate the company's time solely on weapons that would be used in combat. After the war ended in 1946, Colt saw no reason to restart production of the Peacemaker, since it no longer served military use and the design was outdated at that point.
Where's Mike?
Right behind you.
Boy, what a wife! You'll be great when it comes.
But its popularity in Hollywood films was just taking off. Full-length feature films in the Western genre were just beginning to be produced, and famous actors like Henry Fonda, Clark Gable, Grace Kelly, Bob Hope, Jane Russell, and of course John Wayne continued to wield the growingly obscure weapon on screen.
What good did that do you?
By what you preach, none.
As Colt's single-action army revolver continued to grow huge in popularity among fans of Western films throughout the late 40s and early 50s, the company finally decided to begin production of a second generation of the gun in 1956. The Colt single-action army became more of a novelty than ever, and the gun's popularity on film not only led to the reintroduction of the actual firearm, but also toy gun replicas for children. And even special versions of the gun that began as fiction. The Buntline Special, a special modified version of the original Peacemaker, with a 12-inch long barrel as opposed to the regular 5.5 to 7.5-inch one. This fabled gun became a hot topic after it was featured in the widely popular TV show, The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, in 1955, and was then produced by Colt for the first time 2 years later in '57.
That's my buntline you're wearing, isn't it?
I guess it is. If your name's Wyatt Earp. What do you aim to do about it?
I don't think it's nice you laughing.
The single-action army revolver continued to make appearances in blockbuster Western films throughout the 60s and 70s. And while the classic Western genre slowly became less common towards the late 20th century, the gun continued to make appearances in other film genres. including the anti-Western genre that depicts the Wild West in a darker and more cynical tone and favors realism over romanticism of the period.
My friend here needs a gun.
Here's the Eagle Butt Peacemaker. Solid ivory handle, Mexican emblem. Only 30 of these ever made.
The Colt single-action army revolver is still seen in film and TV today, and shows no sign of dying out anytime soon. It has not only become a symbol of revolvers in general, but also a symbol of the much glamorized Wild West, and to many, a symbol of the United States of America itself.
What if I told you?
Now, if you don't settle down, I'm gonna have to put one in your kneecap.